All right, so summarizing just this class, reflecting on what all I've learned. Prior to this integration class with technology, I'd say that as far as utilizing it, it's very similar to what I've heard from other people in this class, using it, using our technology resources for Lexia, Dreambox. That was mainly the involvement of the students. I did pull up certain videos, show them clips, but as far as them interacting or seeking out information or using information that they could find, I really didn't quite have an idea of how I could do that. So since this class, I've got a long list of places I'd like to learn more about, tools I'd like to utilize with my students. I realize how important it is to continue to read up and always looking for new ways to integrate technology to where the student is the one doing the interacting, deciding what they would like to generate and produce as a way to share their learning. Let's see, rating myself as far as where, let's see, sorry, I've skipped down to D. Summarize your technology plan with your classmates. How would you rate your student integration as far as how the lesson went, why, what went well, and what would you change? Well, I'm going to show, this is kind of where I've started. And during my ELA, I have such a wide range of learners and levels of learners that I've divided my class up to differentiate some of my instruction as well as the activities they can do. So I created this. I've used it before, mostly with hard copy paper and options for students to apply their learning and create something to show their new knowledge and share with other people. So what I did is I've made a Google slide. I've just kind of started exploring Google Slides on my own. A teacher in our building did get a grant for some Google Chromebooks, so he showed me a few things. And quickly I learned that my students do have Google accounts because of those Dreambox accounts that they're always using. And he's now able to administrate my students to those accounts and open them up. So he's taught me a few things on here, and it's just been really exciting to learn. There's still more I need to learn and open up, but on this, I'm able to share information with my students, and they can look at it at their own pace. This basically gives them instructions for different choices. I call it my tic-tac-toe board, and they're to get a tic-tac-toe. So I kind of tried to spread out the use of technology so they don't go overboard, as far as the activities. They have about a week to work on this. And during this time, I'm also polling them, providing them with different articles, doing some instructing on different reading skills that we need to make sure we have. So as you go through, though, you can see I've got different links for them to follow. And then they go through these slides, and if they, for example, pick making a word cloud, that's activity 2. And I quickly learned Wordle doesn't work in Chrome. So I found another, it's called Word Cloud, abc.com, Word Clouds. Real easy, they follow that. Then I have instructions here for, what I expect. I want them to still read an article, go through and record key details, follow that link, but then I've also given them instructions on how to save. Well, since we don't have accounts with a lot of these online applications, I have to teach them other tools that they have on their computer that a lot of my kids don't know, because we really have very little opportunity for technology in an older small building that's not Title I. So that's been probably one of the best things I've seen in this, is that kids are learning how to use the tools on their computer. So I also have some experts that have really gotten pretty savvy with the technology, and they are always the ones I appoint to go help. And you can see, then I gave them an example. There to use the snipping tool. So I'm going to show you then down here what, right now the students, since I don't have Google Classroom set up for myself, what I've done is given them each their own 2 slides, and that's where they'll snip or copy and paste their work. So I've got some fun things coming up from students, and we of course had to go over expectations I have for them where they definitely don't mess with somebody else's, and I've put the fear of surveillance that they don't know about, that I can see everything they do on here, so definitely don't go mess with somebody else's work they've worked very hard on. Fortunately, in 4th grade, there's a really nice respect there. So back to this reflection that things that we need to cover. One thing I didn't mention, one thing that I would change is, I have several activities on that tic-tac-toe board. I might do better next time to introduce one thing at a time with my kids. There's been a lot of trial and error with it, but for me, that's kind of the type of learner I am. I need to usually make a few mistakes and learn from those mistakes. And my class, we all kind of have that same mindset at this point in the year as we've gotten to know each other. My game plan, so any changes that I want to make to my game plan. My game plan right now is just pretty awesome that I actually am organized enough to have a game plan. So often we put so much effort into, planning the lesson that then we forget, we don't have time to set up those other expectations. So this visual has worked really well at this time for the kids. And right now there's things such as changing where I put the cart when I bring it in my classroom, or where you line up as you're waiting your turn to check out a computer. But otherwise, all of this has gone really well. We did have to assign computers to kids because signing in and out of your Google account can be a little tricky, and so it's just easier if you're always getting on that same laptop. So that was one thing I guess that I have had to change for the kids. And so new learning, new information or strategies that I've gained on this course, and how it's improved my instruction. Well, I've definitely done a much better job at differentiating, also utilizing my para support better. I know they definitely enjoy this. The kids' engagement is incredible. The increase in class engagement has been awesome. The other thing I think that's really improved for me is collaborating with my colleagues, and also realizing how important it is to collaborate with people like the people in this class, on Edmodo, among other places where I know I'm not afraid to, I guess, blog or ask questions out there in cyber. In fact, cyberspace, I even signed up for a webinar coming up on some more information on Google, using Google Docs. So that's been kind of exciting for me. As far as the continuum goes and where I'm at, let's see, here we go. When I first started, I put myself at adoption. I was okay with directing students, very conventional though, using technology tools. At this point, I still feel like I'm kind of right in the middle here between adoption and infusion, and that's partly our kids and their learning curve as well. I just don't know that I can get into transformation until I really get my kids on board, like with my game plan, and to where I'm not reminding them of this or that, and they're starting to ask or find and discover some things on their own, or allowing students to create some of these Oh, for example, a Google form. I would love to get to a point where my kids are creating those questions or creating some videos. And it comes from their idea of how they can share new information in our classroom. So I would say that I'm still just right in between adaption and infusion. I'd say I'm definitely getting closer to infusion, especially because and that's one thing on my game plan where I do allow them some choices in technology. I only have one iPad, but I know some kids are just more used to that tablet. So I've set up some expectations there on how they can use my iPad if they're not comfortable with the choices I've given them through Google Docs. So, my next steps are just to I really want to get some more training on the Google Drive and how I can use that in my classroom. Also, connecting better with parents. One of probably my biggest joys was when my students realized, as I was sharing my InFlip videos for math, they realized I had a YouTube account, and they were so excited, went home and were seeking to find me, even though what I have on my Google account would be at this point math videos. So that was pretty exciting for both me and the kids, and I knew that their parents are starting to hear those things, and so that's taking our learning outside of the classroom, which is probably one of the biggest highlights for me through this class. So I've enjoyed all of it. Thank you.